Dismantle terrorist camps, Sushma. In a major diplomatic move, India on Friday hit out at Pakistan during a meeting of foreign ministers at the Organization of Islamic Cooperation (OIC). In a speech at the inaugural plenary of the 46th session of the OIC Council of Foreign Ministers, External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj stressed that the anti-terror fight was not a clash among civilizations. If we want to save humanity, we must tell the states who provide shelter and funding to the terrorists to dismantle the infrastructure of the terrorist camps and stop providing funding and shelter to the terror organizations based in the country, Ms. Swaraj said, hinting at Pakistan. From the archives, India, Pakistan and the OIC. India is not a member of the OIC, but was invited to the Abu Dhabi meeting as the guest of honor. Reflecting the comments of the Minister T.S. Tirumurti, Secretary in charge of Economic Relations, Ministry of External Affairs, said, "It is a historic day which opens a new chapter in the engagement with the OIC. India has a civilizational and robust relationship with OIC countries." The speech by the Indian minister was overshadowed by the current tension between India and Pakistan. As Ms. Swaraj delivered her address that touched upon the rich relations between India and various Islamic countries, a chair meant for Pakistan Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi remained empty as he had cancelled the trip to Abu Dhabi. In a strong statement, the Pakistan Foreign Minister protested the OIC's decision to grant a guest of honor status to India. Mr. Qureshi's letter argued India has no legal or moral grounds for being present at the meeting. Emphasizes ties. Ms. Swaraj named countries like Saudi Arabia and Bangladesh for the support extended for building ties with OIC. The minister also named Afghanistan, Indonesia, Brunei, Egypt, Iran, Tunisia and the African and Central Asian members of the OIC for maintaining historic and multi-layered ties with India. Laying out the Indian attitude to solve the terrorism problem, Ms. Swaraj said, "I would like to say that this menace could not be fought only through military, intelligence or diplomatic means." Ms. Swaraj said the fight against terrorism and extremism does not amount to a clash of cultures and instead described it as a fight between ideas. She presented India's pluralism and diversity as a source of strength and said Indian Muslims are a microcosm of India's larger diverse culture. They speak Tamil and Telugu, Malayalam and Marathi, Bangla and Bhojpuri or any of the numerous languages of India. They have diverse culinary tastes, myriad choices of traditional attire, and they maintain strong cultural and linguistic heritage of the region they loved and have lived for generations, she said, elaborating on India's vast Muslim community. Newspaper order on surveillance meant to protect privacy, government tells FC. December 20th notice was to ensure that only authorized agencies access data. The center told the Supreme Court on Friday that its December 20th, 2018 notification allowing 10 central agencies to snoop on people is in fact a measure to protect citizens' privacy. The government was responding to a bill filed by Advocate M.L. Sharma, challenging the December 20th notification as a violation of the fundamental right to privacy. The order allows central agencies, from the Intelligence Bureau to the Central Board of Direct Taxes to the Cabinet Secretariat or to the Commissioner of Delhi Police to intercept, monitor and decrypt any information generated, transmitted, received or stored in any computer resource. The order is based on Section 69(1) of the Information Technology Act of 2000 and Rule 4 of the Information Technology 2009 Rules, Procedure and Safeguards for Interception, Monitoring and Decryption of Information Rules 2009. Turning the argument on its head, the center said the order, in fact, limits the power of surveillance to these 10 central agencies and none other. What has been done under the December 20th order is in fact restricting the exercise of powers, removing a possible vagueness and specifying the agencies, organizations who only would have the powers to utilize the powers of Section 69 of the Act, the center said. Restricted powers. It said the very purpose of the December 20th order is to ensure that surveillance is done as per due process of law, that any interception, monitoring, decryption of computer resource is done only by authorized agencies and with approval of competent authority, to prevent unauthorized use of these powers by any agency, individual or intermediary so that the right to privacy of citizen is not violated. The government said surveillance is necessary in the modern world where modern tools of information communication, including encryption, is used. Surveillance is done only in the defense of India, to maintain public order, etc. There is no blanket permission to any agency, the government explained. Permission for surveillance needs to be got from the Union Home Secretary. Besides, the law mandates the Centre and States to constitute a review committee with the Cabinet Secretary. The affidavit explained how there are grave threats to the country from terrorism, radicalization, cross-border terrorism, cybercrime, drug cartels, and these cannot be ignored or understated. There is a need for speedy collection of actionable intelligence to counter threat to national interests. It is therefore imperative that requests for lawful interception and monitoring must be dealt with by the executive authority to maintain speed in taking decisions. A well-laid-down procedure for oversight by a panel headed by the Cabinet Secretary doubtlessly ensures that provisions of law, rules and SOP are adhered to, the Centre said in its counter-affidavit. Newspaper Ayushman Bharat cover for Uber cab drivers. No facility in states out of ABPMJAY. The Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana ABPMJAY has joined hands with Uber to extend health cover to the driver and delivery partners. The facility will not be available in Delhi, Odisha and Telangana, states that have not joined ABPMJAY. About 30–40% of the driver partners would be eligible for health care services under the health insurance scheme, a PMJAY spokesperson said. Under the agreement, Uber, under its Uber Care initiative, will help set up Common Service Centers, CSCs, and Partner Seva Kendras. This is a pilot study, the PMJAY spokesperson said. The CSC's entrepreneurs will verify eligibility and issue e-cards to drivers with benefits worth 5 lakh rupees to each family per year. National Health Agency CEO Indu Bhushan said, through this partnership with Uber, we hope to reach out to lakhs of people and the families in the driver and delivery community. Newspaper ensure a minimum income for all. A basic income scheme will deliver benefits to the poor only if it comes on top of public services. The idea of a universal basic income, UB, is gaining ground globally. It has supporters among the political left and right, and among proponents as well as opponents of the free market economy. The UB requires the government to pay every citizen a fixed amount of money on a regular basis and without any conditionalities. Crucial to the appeal for such a demand, for UB, is that millions of people remain unemployed and are extremely poor, despite rapid economic growth in the last 3 decades. The National Democratic Alliance government has already unfolded a limited version of the UB in the form of the Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi Yojana PM Kisan, which promises 6,000 rupees per annum to farmers who own less than 2 hectares of land. Going by media reports, the election manifesto of the Congress Party may announce an even more ambitious version of the scheme. Where it will work. The UB is neither an antidote to the vagaries of market forces nor a substitute for basic public services, especially health and education. Besides, there is no need to transfer money to middle and high-income earners as well as large landowners. However, there is a strong case for direct income transfers to some groups, landless laborers, agricultural workers and marginal farmers who suffer from multi-dimensional poverty. These groups have not benefited from economic growth. They were and still are the poorest Indians. Various welfare schemes have also failed to bring them out of penury. A case in point is the access to institutional credit issued by banks and cooperative societies. According to National Sample Survey Office (NSSO) data from the 70th round, institutional credits account for less than 15% of the total borrowing by landless agricultural workers. The figure for marginal and small farmers is only 30%. These groups have to borrow from moneylenders and adattiers at exorbitant interest rates ranging from 24 to 60%. As a result, they do not stand to benefit much from the interest rate subsidy for the agriculture sector. Likewise, the benefits of subsidized fertilizers and power are enjoyed largely by big farmers. In urban areas, contract workers and those in the informal sector face a similar problem. The rapid pace of automation of low-skilled jobs and formalization of the retail sector mean the prospects of these groups are even bleaker. An income support of, say, 15,000 rupees per annum can be a good supplement to the livelihoods, an amount worth more than a third of the average consumption of the poorest 25% households, and more than a fourth of the annual income of marginal farmers. This additional income can reduce the incidence of indebtedness among marginal farmers, thereby helping them escape moneylenders and adattiers. Besides, it can go a long way in helping the poor to make ends meet. Several studies have shown that at high levels of impoverishment, even a small income supplement can improve nutrient intake and increase enrollment and school attendance for students coming from poor households. Better productivity. In other words, income transfers to the poor will lead to improved health and educational outcomes, which in turn would lead to a more productive workforce. It seems to be a good idea to transfer the money into the bank accounts of women of the beneficiary households. Women tend to spend more of their income on health and the education of children. The effect of an income transfer scheme on unemployment is a moot point. In principle, cash transfers can result in withdrawal of beneficiaries from the labor force. However, the income support suggested above is not too large to discourage beneficiaries from seeking work. In fact, it can promote employment and economic activities. For instance, income receipts can come in handy as interest-free working capital for several categories of beneficiaries, fruit and vegetable vendors and small artisans, thereby promoting the business and employment in the process. Moreover, such a scheme will have three immediate benefits. 1. It will help bring a large number of households out of the poverty trap or prevent them from falling into it in the event of exigencies such as illness. 2. It will reduce income inequalities. 3. Since the poor spend most of their income, a boost in their income will increase demand and promote economic activities in rural areas. Nonetheless, an income transfer scheme cannot be a substitute for universal basic services. The direct income support to the poor will deliver the benefits mentioned only if it comes on top of public services such as primary health and education. This means that direct transfers should not be at the expense of public services for primary health and education. If anything, budgetary allocation for these services should be raised significantly. Programs such as the Mahatma Gandhi Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme should also stay. With direct income support, the demand for the programs will come down naturally. However, in the interim, it will serve to screen the poorest in the country and give them a crucial safety net. Using datasets. If basic public services are maintained, there is limited fiscal space for direct income support. It will have to be restricted to the poorest of poor households. The Socioeconomic and Caste Census (SECC) 2011 can be used to identify the neediest. Groups suffering from multi-dimensional poverty such as the destitute, the shelterless, manual scavengers, tribal groups, and former bonded laborers are automatically included. The dataset includes more than 6 crore landless laborers. It also includes many small farmers who face deprivation criteria such as families without any bread-earning adult member, and those without a pucca house. The other needy group, small farmers, missing from the SECC can be identified using the dataset from the Agriculture Census of 2015-16. Together, these two datasets can help identify the poorest Indians, especially in rural India. However, many households, such as marginal farmers, belong to both datasets. The Aadhaar identity can be used to rule out duplications and update the list of eligible households. As an approximation, the number of eligible households is 10 crore. That is even in its basic form. The scheme will require approximately 1.5 lakh rupees crore per annum. The PM Kisan Yojana can be aligned to meet a part of the cost. Moreover, the tax kitty can be expanded by reintroducing wealth tax. Nonetheless, the required amount is beyond the center's fiscal capacity at the moment. Therefore, the cost will have to be shared by states. States such as Telangana and Odisha are already providing direct income support to the farmers. These states can extend the schemes to include the non-farmer poor. The other states too should join in.